Hi, and thanks for staying with us on SWOT Watch. Of course, we still have the chairman of MEFCAP, Dr. Abdul Samad alias, and joining us on board for this segment is Datuk Ramli Abbas, who's actually my good friend and, lost and found kind of thing, CEO of NuSuara. Welcome, Datuk Ramli, and thanks for joining us in this discussion. Of course, NuSuara is an investee of MEFCAP.
Yes.
And perhaps you can start off by telling us what were the benefits of being an investee of MEFCAP.
Well, I should say that without MEFCAP, NuSuara is non-existence. So
To sum it up,
basically, MEFCAP bought the technology from a Hong Kong company, brought it back to Malaysia, and that's where we began.
The company that went bust.
Yeah.
The company that went bust.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
2003.
Right. Was it difficult to decide on whether you wanted to buy NuSuara?
No, because the board thought that the technology is state of the art, is speech recognition, and the Hong Kong University has spent a lot of money on it, and they couldn't take it along, and we thought by paying just about $250,000 US, we could get the IP. And the investment manager who was then doing the evaluation was so passionate about speech recognition that he convinced the board, and we put in the 250,000 American dollars, and took the IP back to Malaysia.
Great. And how much is NuSuara worth right now, Datuk?
Well, let me put in a perspective of sales and profitability, I guess it's better that way.
Yeah, please do.
Last year we made about 25 million ringgit sales and about 7 million in profits after tax. So I think we hope to double it this year. That's what we've been doing for the last 2 years, 3 years in a row. Again, I back to the same question that what Dr. Samad said. Without NuSuara, without MEFCAP, NuSuara is non-existent because they put a lot of money in it, put time into it. And one more thing I have to add, which a lot of people ask me from time to time, why do you join NuSuara? So I know you're going to ask me that question, so I might as well answer you.
Yes, you've been in the corporate world for a long time.
Yes,
yeah,
very successful.
Very successful.
So
face
with
is actually
Motorola,
all over the media as well,
But what happened was I was in the board of MEFCAP, and as usual, my big mouth, I keep on talking about how do we change this company so that we can, turn it around to make profits and do better and all these things. So Dr. Samad turned around and looked at me, why don't you run it? And of course the rest of the board of directors says, why don't you run it? So, me opening my mouth and I said, well, okay, I'll run it. So that's the next step of how I got involved with MEFCAP, and since MEFCAP put money into it, I am very critical in how things were going. I got involved with it, but thank God that we, for the last few years we have turned around and we're making profits now.
Yeah, but I suppose the challenge would still be in turning the company around.
Yeah.
Isn't that?
And I think the cornerstone was the fact that Dr. Ramli was very passionate about it. And to be a successful entrepreneur, you have to be passionate about wanting to grow the business. And he's a man who is from a conglomerate who was very successful in Motorola, and who is on the board of MEFCAP. And to me, if he's very passionate about it, he may be the person who can turn this company around. And lo and behold, I think the result proved that.
Great. So you agree with that to some extent? About the passionate part.
I agree with the passionate part, but I think I got to put in perspective. Running a big corporation, I say growing the growing corporation is different from starting my first $1 million, $2 million company.
Yes.
It is totally different. In Celcom, or in Motorola for that matter, you have people working for you. In MEFCAP, I was a salesman. I'm still a salesman. Cheerleader, you name it. I check my accounts. I check my balance sheet. I check my cash flow. You got to do everything. And in fact, I was having a chat with Samad, and I said, if I had my way, I would be, be very great if I could start with a small company first and then go into managing big corporations, because
Yes.
then I will understand a lot more about the ins and outs of small companies. Because I think the perspective from big corporation looking at small companies is different. Because you're so used to having a lot of people around you, you're so used to have systems and processes in place. You forget that small companies don't have that.
Yes.
So it is difficult.
So that's important as well for a
Very
small
important,
company,
yes.
yeah?
Very,
The systems and, of course, the guidelines and
Yes.
standard operating procedures, all this
Yes.
needs to be taken into account.
Right now in MFCAP, we have a group of people who does nothing else but provide these so-called shared services. They have got to prepare the accounts for the investing companies. They have got to make sure that the secretarial records are up to date, or else we are not teaching the potential entrepreneurs the right way of doing things.
Right.
You have to handhold.
Yeah.
I think the basic strategy of investee companies like MFCAP to come in and put money in and just walk out is not working.
It's not working.
I think from my experience.
Just
It's
not
the
working.
involvement and, of course,
You
the
must
relationship between investor and investee.
Yeah.
That's
Let me give
really
you an
important.
example of some of the things that Dr. Sama has been talking about and lead to it, that I think how MFCAP has helped us. One of it is that if you are a startup, if you go to a bank, you ask for a loan, they will say you put $1 million, we give you 1 million. And I go, what? I got to put 1 million to get another
That's
million?
what you're usually told, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Unless you have money,
Yeah.
then you have cash flow, then you are,
Yeah.
Or you fall into this trap of how do you write a plan? Most startups companies, technology companies, are in love with their products. Okay, they are in love with the technology, and I mean, yeah, technology may be great, but doesn't do anything if the customers don't want to buy it. So to connect from technology to a product that is consumable is a very difficult thing, and that's what I think a lot of things. MFCAP has helped us looking at other customers, help us. In
Right.
fact, one of the things that we did was we put the system in MFCAP first. So we shout about, do you have any customer? Yes, we have. Kind of a thing. Because if not, people won't. If you don't have a live demo, then people don't
That's, of course,
see it as
very important to identify your clientele and the demand, market demand, of course. Yeah, that will.
We are the first one to use his system
Oh.
and the front desk.
Is it good?
Yes, it serves our purposes. Not all the time that our switch girl can be there, our front office girl. And with this technology, you know that your call will be answered. Although you will be speaking to a machine though.
Okay, we've just got a few minutes more before we wrap up this segment and before we move on to CEO Trivia now, Dr. Ramli. In terms of expansion, what are your plans for now?
We have started moving overseas, for whatever, how you call it, but we have started an office joint venture in Singapore. We've got one client, and we're going to have close 2 more clients, so we'll have 3. Then we have also customers in the US, for that matter. They are interested in our language packs. Now we have already signed a deal with them. We have in France, we have a customer in France. We have a customer in Hong Kong. We have a customer in India. So not bad for a small company. I mean, we're starting to do all these things. But of course, our competitor is very, very big. We have the 2 major competitors we have is in the US. One's Nuance, the other one is in Talisman in France, or in Europe, for the matter. So we are going against the big boys here.
Great. Okay, good luck to you. Thank you so much, Dr. Ramli Abbas, who is CEO of NuSuara. Thank you so much for joining us. Of course, MFCAP Chairman. Dr. Abdul Samad Haji Alias, thank you so much
Thank
also for giving us all this great input about MFCAP and, of course, NuSuara. And stay with us for our next segment on CEO Trivia. We'll be right back.
A featured CEO of the Week.